Today we have a lot of items that we need to talk over together and a lot of news that I think you are going to find useful depending on where you're traveling in the world, and especially if we're going to be going on a cruise. We're covering everything from if you happen to be going to the port of Le Havre or visiting France from now until 2027, some things you need to know. We're going to just be talking over everything. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Friday. It is August 29th of 2025. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, will you please go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And if you appreciate my updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up? I sure appreciate your support, so thank you. So let's start at the very top. A couple of days ago, on the very same day on the Ruby Princess, 2 guests had to be airlifted. So I'm going to share with you what happened and the things that come to my mind when these things happen that I think we all need to be aware of. So first of all, like I said, there are 2 guests on the Ruby Princess. It has been reported that both the U.S. Coast Guard and the Canadian Coast Guard, their equivalent, worked together to be able to evacuate these guests on the same day. So first off, we had a 52-year-old woman that had been on board the ship that had cardiac arrest, and so I'm guessing some heart problems there with that. And then we also had a 99-year-old gentleman who was on board the ship, and the report that I can find about him talks about a collapsed esophagus. And so no matter what is wrong, they always take really good care of the passengers on board the ship. They actually have a lot of resources available just there on board, but they are trained and know when they get to the point that the guest has to be airlifted. So that happened to 2 guests on the same day. What always comes to my mind, so this was a cruise on the Ruby Princess that sails round trip out of San Francisco to Alaska. They always have to make that call in a Canadian port as part of the rules for sailing on a ship that goes round trip in the United States. So the important thing to know here is 2 things. First up, along with sending our love and our prayers to these guests as well as their families, it's really important to keep in mind how important it is to have a passport. I think a lot of people don't realize how important it is to have a passport when you go on a cruise that calls at another port, or you're even sailing by somewhere else, because if you end up in the port of that other country, either because you're there and something happens that you end up having to remain there, or you have to be airlifted and that's where they need to take you, and you don't have a passport, you suddenly have to go through a lot more rigmarole to get back to the United States. It's not as simple as just making a plane ticket and coming back again. You have to go through a lot of paperwork in order to be able to do that. So even though you can sail on some of these cruises with only having your driver's license and a certified copy of your birth certificate, you need to be thinking about having a passport with you. Then no matter what happens, you're covered as far as your necessary documents go. The second thing I am always talking about around here is insurance. Make sure that you think about insurance. Make sure that you know how you're going to pay for or how you're going to be covered when the unexpected happens, because it wouldn't be unexpected if we knew what was going to happen, right? So no matter how you're traveling, whether you're going on a road trip, whether you're going on a cruise, a plane trip, and a land tour somewhere, make sure that you have some kind of coverage, whether it's through your credit card company or a travel insurance policy. Make sure you've got that coverage, and make sure that you actually know what that coverage is. Okay, it's really easy to buy a policy. It's a whole nother thing to know what is actually covered in that policy. So that's another thing that we need to do. So let me know in the comments if you wouldn't mind, if you happen to be on the Ruby Princess when all of this happened, or just let us know how the sailing of the Ruby Princess is going. I was kind of hoping somebody would email me, and I haven't heard from anyone, so I went ahead and talked about this, but I look forward to hearing from you no matter what ship you're on. Okay, next up, I always try to let you know some of the dazzling and really exciting things we can do in this world on a ship. And in 2027, Ponant which owns the only luxury icebreaker in the whole wide world, is going to start doing these 12-night cruises that start at Svalbard. So when you look at the map, a lot of cruises like to go to Svalbard or that region, but this cruise starts there. So they're going to take you from Svalbard, and then you're going to sail north to the Geographic North Pole. Along that way, you're going to get to see a lot of whales, a lot of polar bears, lots of glaciers. Then when you get up there to that Geographic North Pole, and during the voyage, you're going to get to do kayaking. You're going to have the chance to do a polar plunge and all of these other remarkable experiences, all while you're sailing on a luxury vessel. So if this sounds like something that you would love to do and it maybe is in your price range, I think, you know what, know that it exists. The first step to being able to plan something is to know that that option exists. And so there you go. I think that would be absolutely remarkable to get to do that. There are so many ways to explore the northern region of the world. And you know what? It is opening up wider and wider because I'm keeping my eye on it. I really want to go through the Northwest Passage. I remember learning about the Northwest Passage growing up, and now there are ships that go. There are some that just go in pretty far and come back out. There are very few that go all the way through and loop all the way down south again. But I think that more great cruises are coming. So I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of this. It's just really exciting. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in something like that. While we are talking about all of the dazzling things that you can do on the earth, and especially when you think of it from a cruise line, is anybody wanting to do any other Eclipse cruises than what we've already got booked? Right now, we have got the August 2026 Eclipse cruise booked. We're going to be doing that on the Sky Princess. There's space left on board that ship if you want to come. Send me an email and come and join us. So that ship leaves on August 8th, sailing a round trip from Southampton. That eclipse is going to be situated that we will be off the kind of northwest coast there of Spain to be able to see that eclipse in 2027 for the one that is in August. We will be on the Nile cruise. I happen to have group space on the Princess cruise that will be able to view that eclipse. It's not going to be the full totality that you will get on the Nile, but it's very respectable. So if you're interested in that, send me an email. And there's another eclipse that nobody's been talking about, and I'm trying to decide if we should do another group or not. So let me know if you are interested in another Eclipse cruise. I won't hold you to it, but at least let me know if you're interested. Would you just send me an email? Pop it in the comments, but an email would be great as well. So when we were just on the Regal Princess, you know what? I told you all about the fact, and this is the first time I'd been on a Princess ship, that there was no lobster on formal night. Now, there are two sides to this coin. On the one hand, I think, well, who cares? I'm getting to go where I want to go in the world, which is why I go on cruises at this point in my life. And dinner was great. I would say that they substituted a really nice dish that had these prawns that were sauteed in garlic, and then this truffled risotto that was actually delicious. And that's kind of what you would think probably they replaced the lobster with. It was really good. No problems at all. But then I know that there are people that go, they love to have that lobster. They've been on Princess cruises before. They come to expect it. So when it's not there, then it's, not great. So first off in the comments, let me know what you think. But the reason I'm talking about it today is because I am hearing from so many of you on different ships, and you know what? It's not the same on all of the ships. Even on ships that it's being reported that no more lobster on the fleet anymore, other ships have lobster. Underneath my video the other day when I told you that we didn't have lobster on the Regal Princess, someone posted they were on the Diamond Princess and had lobster on their formal night 2 nights before. So you know what? When you go on a Princess cruise, you're going to either get lobster on a formal night or you're not going to get lobster on the formal night. If you're new to Princess, they always had lobster on the last formal night of the voyage. So let me know in the comments how everything is going. It's just that kind of thing. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. I don't know that there's really anything we can do about it, but it's one of the things that's kind of been just something that we've always expected, and wanted to bring you up to date on that. Also, let's talk for a minute. If you are going to the port of Le Havre in France, there are so many things to get to see there. We were just there the other day when we were on our British Isles cruise. When you go there, you can go into the town there of Le Havre. You can go down and see the beaches of Normandy. You can go see Monet's home. You can go to Rouen. You can go to Honfleur. You can go into Paris. Another option that they usually have is to go see the Bayeux Tapestry. And why am I telling you this? It's because if you are going to be traveling around France and doing your own thing, and you're kind of planning out what you're going to do, or you're going to go to that port there, you need to be aware of the fact that that Bayeux Tapestry Museum is going to be closed starting September 1st of 2025, so just this next week on Monday. From then, it is going to be closed until October of 2027. So they're first of all going to work on restoring the tapestry. I'll tell you a little bit more about the tapestry in just a minute. And then next September, they are going to be loaning it to the British Museum for a year. And in return, the British Museum is going to be loaning some artifacts to France. But anyway, just wanted to let you know not to plan to go there. This is the first time that the tapestry has ever been loaned to England before, and so it's kind of a big deal. But what is the Bayeux Tapestry? It actually dates from 1077, so it is remarkably old. It is like 268 meters long, or 224 feet long, and it kind of tells the story of the Battle of Hastings. It kind of includes it does include what led up to the Norman conquest there, and then including the Battle of Hastings. That is the record. It is remarkably beautiful. I haven't seen it yet in person. I've seen a lot of pictures of it. I actually studied it for a time, and just wanted to let you know. Put it on your calendar. I'm going to put it on mine that museum is going to open again in October of 2027. So after that, I plan to go see it, but just wanted to make you aware on that. Last thing I want to talk to you about today, and this is a big deal, so pay attention. I talk in our videos how Gordon and I love, we've flown into Europe a couple of times, more than a couple now, and driven around different countries, several different countries sometimes in the same trip, and we do that in the United Kingdom as well. But every time you do that, you have to rent a car, and a lot comes with that. From the standpoint, be aware that if you rent a car in one country and you want to return it in another country, it's way more expensive. So you're going to want to plan your itinerary that you can pick up your car and then end up in that same country again. You don't have to end up at the same airport again. Like when we went in July, we picked up our car in Basel, Switzerland, but we returned it in Zurich because it would have been so much more expensive to return it like when we were in Austria. And so make sure that you plan that. But even more than that, you have to be aware of different companies to rent your car from. And this is a big deal because Hertz has just started using these AI scanners to scan vehicles that are returned by people who have rented their cars. The interesting thing is they never have a human eye lay an eye on the footage that it generates as they scan the cars, or on the penalties that they assess to the people that rented the car, to really look and see if the damage was done that they say was done, and if how much you're fining them is appropriate. So much so they're having trouble with it that actually it sounds like Congress here in the United States is going to investigate that. But when we returned our rental car to Heathrow last year with Hertz, that didn't go really well. So I'm just going to say we ended up being fined for something that we did not do. So now I always take a very thorough video, including of the tires, because apparently normal wear and tear on the tires is going to cost you now. And so we decided we were not going to rent with Hertz again. And so this time, this year, 2 times now, we have rented with National. So National and Enterprise work together, same country there. And let me tell you, the process to rent the car, so much smoother. Other times when we have been there, you're going to go get to rent your car there, and you're going to be forever waiting to be able to get your car, going through all the paperwork and waiting in the long lines and everything. So slick this time. We had to wait in line a little bit, but so much better. And then the return went a lot better. The same quality of cars, everything was really well. So that's my tip for you today. Don't be renting from Hertz. Pick somebody else. We have rented from Europe Car before, but I would say look at the different car companies. And like I said, we were very pleased with National/Enterprise. Let me know what your questions are. Thanks for joining me here today, and I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.